This episode of today's iconic moment in New York sports history is presented by Tri-State Cadillac dealers. September 21st, 1986, Ken O'Brien and the Jets outdueled Dan Marino and the Dolphins in a 51-45 game decided in overtime. The AFC rivals combined for 884 net passing yards, which set a record at the time. Now that Sunday, the 1-1 Jets were hosting the 1-1 Miami Dolphins at Giant Stadium. Under head coach Joe Walton, the Jets were led by quarterback Ken O'Brien. Don Shula's Miami Dolphins were led by Dan Marino. New York got on the board first with a 32-yard field goal from Pat Leahy. Now Marino threw the first touchdown of the game, putting the Dolphins up 7-3 after the first quarter. The Jets then answered back in the second quarter behind Johnny Hector's 2 touchdowns on the ground. Now behind by a score of 17-7, Marino threw 2 more touchdowns before O'Brien answered with his first 2 touchdowns of the game, connecting on both scores with Wesley Walker. The Jets were up 31-21 at halftime, and the Dolphins came back and were leading 45-38 when O'Brien found Walker once again for a 21-yard score to force overtime on the final play of regulation. In overtime, O'Brien and Walker connected for a 4th time to give Gang Green a 51-45 win. Walker finished the game with 6 catches for 194 yards and 4 touchdowns. The 2 quarterbacks combined for 10 total passing touchdowns. Marino went 30 for 50 for 448 yards, 6 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and O'Brien went 29 for 43 for 479 yards and threw just 1 interception.